So I'm on my way. So I'm on my way right now to a shooting for my next project. Did my makeup myself. I don't know if it. I don't know. I tried to shade a little bit, but I think I got a little bit too tan. So, oh my god, I have like that neck doesn't match the face color. I think I feel like this a lot. Anyhow, so because of this entertainment project, I haven't been able to do a lot of talking about politics. It is a two-man race between Moon Jae-in, the frontrunner, and Ahn Cheol-soo, who is close behind, maybe by anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7 percentage points, depending on the poll. And you have very visible other candidates rounding out the top 5. Shim Sang-jung seems to be the heartfelt favorite, almost like the female version of Bernie Sanders, but with people who are as passionate about reform and change, but probably not as militant as Bernie Sanders protesters, I would say people are very much wanting to choose their passion and vote for Shim Sang-jung if they're on that, if they're on the liberal side of the spectrum. But they're trying to be pragmatists right now and figuring out whether they should vote for Moon Jae-in. Ahn Cheol-soo supporters are also a little bit more liberal and reform-minded, but I would say that if you're in the Ahn Cheol-soo camp, you're totally in the Ahn Cheol-soo camp, and you will not vote for Moon Jae-in because you still view Moon as being the establishment candidate, even though he is a liberal frontrunner. Who would be the most qualified? Because, you know, when you are voting for president, I think you have, on the one hand, a passionate side of your vote. Your vote represents and symbolizes what kind of change you want. But on the other hand, you are practical and rational. You also vote based on what you think will be the right thing for the moment, even if it might not align with your passion. Now, the thing that I get a little bit upset by is that people who vote for, they're basically looking at the president to fulfill the role of like Jesus or Superman, one person who can cure all. One person cannot cure everything. You have to do the best you can. And so in this situation, I think charisma does not win out over experience. And the reason why I say that is that I've seen people on both sides of the many sides of the political spectrum, and though the candidates or the politicians may vary and have distinct personalities, the people around them, the support staff, essentially the pool of leadership is almost the same wherever you go in the party, and I would just typify it as dysfunctional. It's hard to work together in groups in any situation where you're battling out with politics, but what is important is whether the president can navigate those choppy waters. You don't want somebody who looks great swimming in a swimming pool and like wins all these awards and looks good in their Speedos, and then once they get thrown into the ocean are like, you know, making rookie mistakes. You want to even if, you know, the guy doesn't look that good, if he's good at swimming in the ocean and making sure that he saves everybody that he's supposed to be taking care of, I'd rather vote for that person. Right now, I see that in Moon Jae-in because, and I'll tell you, he has been part of the system, yes, and I didn't like him for him being part of the system before because I felt like he was just going to be another one of those dysfunctional people. But what I've seen in the past year, and it's almost been a year, is that he has changed from the Moon Jae-in he was in 2012 to the Moon Jae-in he is now. And I know there must have been some sort of come to Jesus moment or come to the Himalayan moment where he took a retreat last July, and I asked, I was like, you know, did he really, you know, get touched by the heavens? Because if he's going to go for the Korean presidency, I want to know that this person actually is really passionate about this and wants this job. So what I did find is that I've seen him in action, and you can see it through the debates. He knows how to pull through the clutter that would mar a different candidate. Case in point, this week, Ahn Cheol-soo was making a very rookie move, even though he's not a rookie anymore, when he was basically like calling out Moon Jae-in in the debate, saying like, oh, I heard you called me an avatar of the former president. I mean, that sounds so weak sauce. Like, basically, Ahn Cheol-soo is responding to hate messages or kind of like all that online, you know, like it's hard to be a public figure in online when people are after you. And he was basically complaining like, oh, it's so hard, like, you know, being like getting attacked on the internet. And Moon Jae-in was like, literally like, okay, I have to respond, but this is so ridiculous of a response. Like, I would have to respond. And he was like, okay, out of all 5 candidates, I'm the one who probably gets the most amount of hate online. I'm not complaining. Why don't you tell the people your stance right now while you have a soapbox on national television and set your own record straight? Like, why do you have to ask me these innuendo type questions? And I could see like Ahn Cheol-soo still has not been able to master the nastiness of politics where people do use those tactics, probably like, you know, in the political spectrum, but you're not supposed to air that kind of like dirty laundry battle in public because it makes you look petty. There's gonna be petty people and haters coming at you from all sides, and it seems like Ahn Cheol-soo still has not been able to master that. It only will get worse as president, and you have to have somebody who knows how to be able to navigate the tough parts of life and still do their job and still do it to a level that nobody else can do it if they had like 1,000 years to do. And part of that is, I think, is basically being able to navigate the cogs of the machinery, of this dysfunctional machinery, to try to get the most function out of it. And from what I've seen with Moon Jae-in, he's been able to recognize, okay, this is, how do I explain this so succinctly? But you know, the power structure, most people, okay, there's like many stages of where people just can't take it and it's game over for them. Oh, here's Dispatch. Game over for them. And so one of them is in a political, what do you call it, the hierarchy. You can't get through the hierarchy. Another way is because you just can't get through the job, what the job entails. You can't get through the people. Oh, I have to find parking. I'll have to continue this in a little bit. I'm stuck in the worst traffic. Okay, so here's the pro and con of Moon Jae-in, right? So Moon Jae-in, I think, knows how to play the game and is now in it to not play it necessarily for himself, because seems like he's somebody who didn't want to even be in the game in the first place. Which is so hard to explain. But we don't have like the perfect scenario right now, right? And so Moon Jae-in was not very good because it seemed like he didn't even want to be president. Okay, so now he wants to be president, but the reason why I like him is that he doesn't really want to be president to fulfill his ego or to fulfill his bank account, as from what I can tell. Also, the other thing is that to be president, you need to know how to be presidential. You have to act with class, but then you also have to be a badass. And then also at the same time, you have to know how to play the game, but then not be so gamey. You know, you're asking for like a very perfect person, and so that's like a really ridiculous thing to do. In the fact that he's playing the game and trying to get voters, he was baited into, from what I believe he was baited into, he could actually believe this, you know, personally, fully, truthfully, but he did not say good things about gay people and the homosexual community. He basically said that he agreed with a conservative lawmaker who asked him whether he was against homosexuality and whether gays were destroying the fabric of the Korean military. And he agreed. And then Hong Joon-pyo, the conservative lawmaker who's running for president, said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes, of course." So basically, he is he's among the many candidates who are against publicly gay rights. Only Shim Sang-jung is the one of the leaders who is leading candidates who has publicly advocated for gay rights. So if that is a position, I mean, that could be a deal breaker for some. Moon may most likely be trying to get votes. Again, you know, you're voting for somebody who is going to represent, how do I say? You're trying to choose between McDonald's Wendy's, Burger King, Lotteria, KFC, Subway. You're choosing among fast food, so you're not going to get something that's completely healthy. I think it's all up to us that once we vote a fast food in, that we make sure that they make their products a little bit healthier. Oh, I'm just so tired and hungry. Maybe that's why. Anyhow, so I'm trying to get over to I've been traversing Seoul like nobody's business today, and it's getting a little bit tiring. But I will say that this setup with this camera and then this cool mic is really cool. I like it. I'm into this.